Hello everyone! Thank you very much for being with us today. So, we're here with Miss Nat. She's been working as a payroll specialist for a multilingual recruitment company here in the Philippines who's also hiring bilinguals. And today, she'll share with us her expertise in the field.
Okay, so for this video, we'll be answering the most common questions we receive from our bilingual applicants regarding their monthly deductions, the details on their payslip. So rest assured, we'll do our best to answer all of that.
And please note that all the things which will be discussed in this video is not fixed across all industries and companies because these firms have different standards in salary computation.
Yes, in addition to that, just to support Ms. Yeda, every company, they have their own salary structure. So it depends on the nature of the industry, the nature of the job, and probably the expertise required for that certain job.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that, Miss Nan. And yes, if you have any questions or you have any concerns regarding your salary, just share your experiences with us in the comment section and we'll try to assist you. And if you think that we missed something on this video which you feel is really important in this matter, let us know so that we can also attend to those inquiries. Without further ado, let's start. For my first question is that here in the Philippines, we know that we have like the government mandatory benefits such as SSS, PhilHealth and PAG-IBIG, and I know that there are a lot, especially in the bilingual field, our expat or foreign workers here in the Philippines, hindi sila ganun ka-familiar about this government mandatory benefits. So, can you please differentiate these benefits for us and for our viewers?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. So for these three benefits like SSS, the PhilHealth, and then the PAG-IBIG, so we are aware that all employers are required to deduct such benefits from their employees because it's government mandated, right? The SSS is like an insurance program, so currently it has around 8 benefits like maternity benefit, sickness benefit, death benefit, and other benefits from SSS. So just in case there will be an emergency from that employee, they can get something. It's like emergency fund. So that's like SSS. And actually for SSS, it's 12%. 8% is shouldered by the employer, and the 4% is from the employee. So for PhilHealth, it's more on healthcare assistance whenever a worker got sick and got hospitalized. So PhilHealth will be there to assist for the hospitalization bills. And for the PAG-IBIG fund, so it's also somehow like SSS, but the savings and the deductions is not that quite big compared to SSS. Since between those three kasi, si SSS yung may pinaka-highest premium kasi siya rin yung nag-offer ng highest benefit.
That's really insightful, Miss. Thank you very much for differentiating that, and I hope that our foreign bilinguals, especially yung expats natin, can understand that. But they might be asking that, tama ba na i-deduct sa akin yung mga benefits na to if I'm not a Filipino resident? What if I have this health insurance from my home country? Is it still mandatory to deduct these benefits from my salary?
Okay. I also experienced a foreigner asking, Ms. Net, is it really necessary na I'm a foreigner, I'm from Japan, do I really need to pay for the SSS PhilHealth and PAG-IBIG?
Yes, exactly.
So, actually po, since it's government mandated, so we did have to pay the necessary contributions to SSS PhilHealth and PAG-IBIG. If the foreigner will not comply, of course, he cannot work here in the Philippines, and at the same time, yung responsibility kasi would be dun sa hiring company. So for example, if these government agencies will find out na itong company na to hindi nagpipay ng tamang amount ng contributions for that specific month, yung liability kasi na kay employer. So na kay hiring company siya doon. I understand kung bakit natatanong nila yon. Pero yon, so as long as you're working here in the Philippines, you have to follow kasi yung guidelines talaga.
Yes.
Safe for you and safe dun sa employer.
Yes. It is also one of the things na din na ini-implement ng government to protect na din all of the people working here. It's really helpful naman on our end.
Yes, actually, a lot of workers are being helped by the SSS, the PhilHealth and PAG-IBIG. It's just that, of course, there's a certain qualifying conditions that we have to meet in order for us to get such benefit from them.
Okay, so before we move on to the next question, we'd like to let our bilinguals know, especially those who don't have any idea yet, what is the standard salary computation here in the Philippines, that if you were a bilingual and you will work here in the Philippines, regardless kung Filipino ka man who can speak languages or expat, foreign ka who would like to work here in the Philippines, you should know that your salary will be divided into two main breakdowns. The first would be your basic pay and the second would be your language premium. So yung language premium natin is the added benefit that companies are offering their bilingual candidates or bilingual hires because of the language or the foreign language skills that these bilinguals will use in their jobs.
So that's why if you're an HR or you're a recruiter, you will notice that some bilinguals talaga, they have higher salary compared to other Filipino executives because of the language premium.
Different industries here in the Philippines have different standards in the computation of their language premium. Yung common experience natin for BPO and IT companies, their computation of language premium is usually higher sa basic pay. And yung normal salary range that they are offering their bilingual candidates will be 15,000 to 25,000 for the basic pay and 40,000 to as much as 80,000 for the language premium, which can total to as much as 70,000 to 120,000 a month for bilinguals alone.
In order for the hiring company to determine the level of the proficiency of those bilinguals, they're asking them to take assessments or other examinations. It can be a written examination or like verbal assessment to determine the level of the proficiency of the candidate. Kasi yung language premium, nakadepende din siya dun sa proficiency.
To our bilinguals out there, normally even if you have like in our Japanese bilingual, if you have an entry language certificate, but if you did really good on the assessments, you can earn higher than what normal language certificate holders can get. And that applies the same for our Korean bilinguals, Mandarin bilinguals, European and other Asian language speakers. So it applies the same. Those assessments or the results of those assessments will determine kung gaano kalaki yung language premium that your company will offer you.
Yes.
So since we already have an idea how big is the language premium here in the Philippines offered to bilinguals and kung ano yung role na ginagampanan nitong language premium sa salary ng bilinguals natin, where is overtime pay, incentives, and commissions computed from? Is it from the basic pay alone? Or dun ba siya sa combination ng language premium plus basic pay?
Okay. So for the overtime pay, those other premium pays like holiday, night differential, of course, it would be based from the basic. Okay. So it should be computed from the basic salary of the employee. And in line with the incentives, commission, it depends on the agreement. It depends on the agreement and then the nature of the job of the person. Especially if it's into sales. Diba? So yung mga may targets, yung mga may quota. Like, there are some incentives kasi na performance-based. So, hindi siya talaga part ng monthly salary niya, pero it's an additional salary or pay dun sa employee once na may na-perform siya or may na-deliver siya na something good.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nat, for that insight. So ngayon, alam na natin where would be the OT incentives and commissions based from. Now we will ask naman kung saan binibase, Ms. Nat, yung deductions in case an employee incurred absences.
Okay. So for that, nakabase siya sa basic pay ng employees. Pero meron kasi mga allowances na parang directly in line with the basic salary. Like, depende siya sa nature ng allowance. So, for example, basic salary niya is around, for example, 40,000. Tapos, meron siyang food allowance na, let's say, 5,000. Siyempre, if there would be some absences dun sa employee, may deductions yun sa basic salary niya. And at the same time, dun sa nature ng allowance, which is food. Siyempre, if there's an internal agreement between the company na, pag there would be some absences, hindi lang basic allowances yung affected ha. So automatic affected din yung ibang klase ng allowance.
So it depends dun sa agreement na sinay ng employee and
So,
between the company.
That's why it's also important for those applicants, especially for our bilinguals, na you have to ask everything like please be curious about the details on your salary kasi it would be very convenient for you na alam niyo yung nature ng salary niyo kasi of course it's your right because it would be your salary. I think HR would understand if you're just asking kasi you're just confirming naman hindi naman nagde-demand.
We know that there are different tax computation between countries, and I believe that our foreign and expat workers would be interested about this. Will you let us know what is the standard income tax rate here in the Philippines for both Filipino and foreign bilinguals working in the Philippines?
So I know that most foreigners and even though some Filipinos are still confused about the tax rate, diba? So parang everyone is always thinking na how much is my tax or why do I have to pay this tax? For that one, Miss Yeda, actually, Filipinos and foreigners, so or bilinguals, we have the same rate naman when it comes to the taxes. So it's around 20 to 35%, but of course, there's a limit kasi na every amount or any amount that will exceed the 250,000 pesos annual salary, all of those are taxable. So everything na under 250,000 pababa, so yung 250,000 pababa, so yun, not considered siya as taxable.
Yung 20 to 35% will only be computed dun sa nag-exceed na amount.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, Ms. Nat, for providing us the rate. And yun nga, we have an additional question regarding that. So since yung bilinguals natin have this added benefit which is normally really huge, yung alam na natin na language premium, is language premium included dun sa computation ng annual salary para makaabot tayo dun sa ceiling na 250,000 for the annual income?
Yes. Actually, yes. All incomes are considered taxable talaga siya. Of course, di ba meron tayong allowances, meron tayong basic salary, language premium. So, any amount that will exceed 250,000, taxable talaga siya. And included yun. Language premium.
Yes. Because actually, you know, Ms. Nat, this is actually the common misconception of our foreign or expat bilinguals who are working here in the Philippines. They normally think that the language premium is not included dun sa computation ng annual income.
But just to reiterate lang po, so language premium are taxable and it's actually included in computing the annual salary of a worker po here in the Philippines.
For our last question, since medyo nararamdaman na nga natin yung cold ng year-end, how do we really compute, Ms. Nat, the 13-month pay of an employee working here in the Philippines? Is it the same for Filipino executives and bilinguals?
Okay. So, for the 13th month pay computation, so of course, 13th month pay isa yan sa mga nilook forward, di ba, ng mga Filipino workers and all workers here in the Philippines. So, when it comes to computing the 13th month pay, so it's actually the total basic salary. So, doon talaga siya kinocompute. Total basic salary, and then we're just dividing it to the total number of months. And then, tsaka yung months work, ganun siya. So, basically, for 13th month pay, it's from the total basic salary.
I understand. So, language premium is not included in the computation?
Yes. Language premium is not included on that. As per the guidelines, doon talaga tayo mag-base. Kasi nga, di ba, language premium and other allowances, hindi sila considered as part ng pinaka-base talaga.
I understand, yes. So, another question is that language premium is really included dun sa taxable income. But why is it na hindi siya kasama sa
Yes, actually,
13 month pay?
so actually, yun din yung mga questions most common questions talaga na bakit hindi siya kasama sa 13th month pay computation, bakit pag sa taxes kasama siya. However, it's really the guidelines issued by the BIR na any form of income, it's really taxable. But 13th month pay kasi it's just an additional benefit kasi na binibigay sa mga rank and file employees.
So again, Ms. Nat, thank you very much for sharing all those wonderful insights with us. I hope that all the things that you shared with us regarding the most commonly asked questions regarding salary here in the Philippines among bilinguals and also sa mga fresh graduates natin. I hope everything will help everyone, especially fresh graduates natin or yung mga workers natin here in the Philippines who have started to want to manage their finances personally. So, thank you very much again.
Thank you, Ms. Yeda. And siguro, in addition to that, so for those bilinguals or fresh graduates na you're working and you're receiving your salary, it's really important that you know the basics about your pay kasi it's your right, and at the same time, it won't cause any confusion regarding the salary that you receive kasi these informations are not being disclosed before you graduate, right? Hindi siya tinuturo sa school. So, kumbaga natututunan mo to once na nag-start ka na kasi mag-work. And for those bilinguals kasi, since yun nga, it's their first time to work here, so I think it's really important that they should ask the right person with a question para mas mag-guide sila dun sa correct information.
And I hope our viewers can help us disseminate all this information. You can share this video to your friends para ma-educate din sila kung ano ba talaga yung tamang deductions that their employers should deduct from their salary, kung ano yung mga tamang benefits and allowances na dapat binibigay sa kanila, kung ano yung tamang range ng salary na in-offer sa kanila, and the things na kailangan nilang malaman before they sign a job offer from the company.
So, it's really important that they should ask questions, a lot of questions prior signing any job offer. Kasi once na na-sign ka siya, medyo mahihirapan na silang mag-ask ng question kasi nga, signed na.
Yes, exactly.
And especially salary kasi mostly dito lang nagkakaroon ng mga, di ba, maraming questions from the employees din talaga.
On the employee side. So, ayun, just don't be afraid to ask questions kasi matutulungan tayo ng mga questions na yun. It doesn't mean that we don't know anything, but it means that we want to know more about what we don't know yet. So, again, thank you very much for watching and for tuning with us until the end. I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel, share this video, and like this video if you got quite an insight so that we can share more knowledge and also educate Filipino and foreign bilinguals about the working setup here in the Philippines and more. So, I hope that you'll have a great day.
Thank you
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.